Hi beautiful people, today I'm going to show you how I made some oyster shell candle. The wax that I use is soy and bee combination, so you can use any type of wax that you like. I also use fragrant oils. If some of you doesn't like them, you can opt that one out. I start with sticking the candle wicks onto the oyster shell. After the wicks is dry, then I just place all these oyster shell back into the tray just to make it steady, ready for pouring the wax in. Wax can be melted in double boiler. I have my slow cooker, so I use that instead. So I just need to stir them time to time just to make sure that I don't have any lumps of wax left. Because I use beeswax, it tends to melt later than the soy wax. One thing I want to mention is the oyster shell itself. Before I use for my candle, I washed the shell in soapy warm water a few times and then dry them out in the sun. So I just want to make sure that it doesn't have any nasty smell. And also I did sand the bottom of it just a little bit, for especially some of those shell that doesn't sit still. So just to make sure that after my candle is finished, I can place the shell on the table and it does not flip on its side. One thing that you may notice, I do have temperature gun, so because I have it, so I use them. After all the wax is melted, I will add the fragrant oils at about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. The book said if you add the fragrant oil at the higher temperature, it will affect how nice of the smell. But if you're a beginner and you don't have the temperature gun, you don't really need this, or you can use the candy thermometer as well. I also used pre-made wax as a decoration. So those one I just use a silicone mold and then I just color the wax and pre-made those decoration part. I normally stir the wax down to about 130 degrees Fahrenheit before I start pouring. That's because if you pouring those wax at the higher temperature, sometimes the top surface of the candle would not come out like nice and clean, not perfect. It might have some of the hole around the wicks. So that's the way I prefer anyway. You don't have to do this. You can kind of eyeballing it and touch it on the side if you are a beginner and you only make it as a gift to your relative and not for sale anyway. But if you are planning to sell and you become a bit more professional, I definitely recommend that you use thermometer to check all these, because sometimes some of my wax, some of my candle doesn't come out perfect, but it's a gift for my friend and family, so I don't too worry about it. Once I pour those wax, I would leave the wax to set for around 5 to 10 minutes depending on the temperature outside. So today I left it a bit too long. It's getting a bit too place this decoration on the top and then press them down a little just to make them stick to the top. But then again, because I left this candle bash a little bit too hard, it's kind of hard for me to push all those petals down, especially the later ones, so it's too hard to really make them stick. But I'm not going to be too worried about. But if you do want them to stick, you can use heat gun to blow the surface down, make it soften a little, and then just put all those stuff on the top. After I put the decoration on, I found that it's a bit still too plain for my liking, so I had some glitter. I add those golden glitter sprinkle on the top just to make it a little bit more colorful, so you can play with it and be creative with these. So here we go. I hope you like my easy DIY oyster shell candle. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Happy crafting.